Hey guys, and welcome to the second video on glycolysis. In this video, we're going to focus on the ATP producing phase. So, we're going to start off with the 6-carbon molecule with one phosphate attached to each end, which we ended in the previous video. So we have here. And imagine this split into two, which would yield these two molecules, right? Well, we call them G3P molecules. So we're going to have two G3P molecules. The exact way of getting there to two G3P molecules is a little more complicated, but we're not going to focus on that on this video. Now, the real question is, how do we get from each G3P molecule to one pyruvic acid, right? Because in the end, we had to end up with two pyruvic acids. And the way we get there, so let me erase a little bit. Let's keep a mental note that this happens twice because there's two G3P, so 2x. And let's erase this part. First of all, we're going to need the help of an enzyme called dehydrogenase. And I mentioned in the previous video that in glycolysis, a coenzyme must be provided, right? So this coenzyme is now going to come into play, and we are going to see something like this. And this reaction actually is a exergonic reaction, which again was facilitated by dehydrogenase. And exergonic meaning that it releases energy. And what this energy is going to do then is it's going to add an additional phosphate into play. So we're going to get another phosphate attached to the G3P molecule. It's going to be a new molecule, right? Then we're going to go through second, which is substrate level phosphorylation. Check out the other video in the playlist if you haven't seen that already. But to recap, basically we have an enzyme which has a respiratory substrate, has a phosphate attached to it, and we're going to get an ADP here, right? And this phosphate from the respiratory substrate is going to give this phosphate to the ADP and produce ATP. Now, you'll remember that how many phosphates do we have? Well, we have 1 and 2, right? So that means then that substrate level phosphorylation should allow us to create 2 ATP from 2 phosphates and 2 ADPs. And finally, of course, we will also get that pyruvic acid now that the phosphates have gone to the ADP and has formed ATP. So now this is severed, right? So 2 ATPs and pyruvic acid, right? Not quite there yet, because you'll remember that I erased here and we left a note here that there's 2 G3P molecules, right? So this actually happens twice. Therefore, the net result being, let's erase a little bit here. Let's draw a box. Net result. So the net result being that we'll get 2 pyruvic acids. We'll get plus 4 net, right? Net ATP. And finally, plus 4 ATP. Ignore the net. And then also we're going to get NADH here. So we're going to get 2 NADH, right? Because 1 NADH per, but then we get 2 reactions here, so it's 2 NADH. Now, it's plus 4 ATP, but you'll remember that we actually, in the beginning, invested 2 ATP, right? So in reality, the net ATP gain is minus 2 plus 4, which equals plus 2 ATP. So the net result of glycolysis is 2 pyruvic acids, 2 NADH, and finally 2 ATP. Thanks guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.